Alana, how the hell are you doing besides sitting in traffic for the last couple hours?
Oh my God, it's good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I figure normally when we do these remote shows, it's an easy commute, but apparently you just went through it to fucking get on this show, so.
But yes, you know what? Then it's well worth it.
It's
well worth it. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure, but just say that now. We're only like 30 seconds into the show. In like a half hour, be like,
in a minute, I might change my mind.
Exactly.
Who knows?
You're like calling your publicist like, what the fuck did you just sign me up for? I waited in traffic.
Never again, you're fired.
Oh, shit. If you fire your publicist over this, I am never going to hear the fucking end of it. I guess I got to be on good behavior.
I'm kidding. He's awesome. I love him.
Oh, I do too.
Great.
I need to drink more whiskey with him. Speaking of which, I need to pour myself something. It's 6:30 there in New York. You drinking?
Yes. You know what? I should, because I've been stuck in traffic for so long.
You deserve it.
I do. So do you. We should drink together. I only have Trulies, though, so I'm going to drink a Truly.
Hey, I'm not here to judge. Like, whatever makes you happy.
Exactly.
So besides being stuck in horrible New York traffic for the last couple hours, what have you been doing with yourself?
Well, basically, I have my own podcast, Love and Laughs. I have my own network, Love Media. So I've been doing that. My show, Love and Laughs, is basically it's comedians, upcoming hip hop artists, musicians, adult entertainers, pretty much everyone, and it's just bullshitting. And basically, obviously, talking about sex and just bullshitting about whatever comes to mind. And I really have no filter on anything. So
my audience is very used to a show like that. And that's kind of how we roll around here, too.
See, then me and you get along. That's why.
Well, cheers to that.
Exactly.
Forgetting where the fuck my camera is.
Cheers.
Cheers. But you went a whole other fucking step. You're like, I'm starting my own network. Fuck just doing it in my own show. What made you decide to do the fucking network with it?
Well, because it's on YouTube, you get a lot of restrictions. So, I figured, why not start a network where there's pretty much no restrictions? You could say whatever you want to say. I mean, obviously, it still has to be the legal route. Like, there's no, it can't be fully porn or anything like that. But, and also give other people a platform as well. So, like, upcoming hip hop artists, if they want to have like a concert every week or to promote their songs, they could do that on the network. If comedians want to do a comedy special once a week, they could do that on the network, or a reality show or something. So it's not just limited to one thing.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Like, see, for me, I just ended up going to Vimeo where they're like, yeah, nudity's okay. I'm like, okay, we're over on Vimeo then.
And also, my net gonna be on Roku and Amazon sometime in September, so I'm excited about that. That's
fucking awesome. When we get off air, I may be like, hey, so how do you get that done? Because I may need to
absolutely.
I may need to look into doing that shit too. Shit.
Absolutely. I mean, it reaches so many more followers and stuff like that. So why not? And like, why not have a bigger reach? And I started my own charity as well. So the pandemic actually helped me, as like it pushed me to like get started on things. My charity is Love is Love, and it helps people for domestic violence pretty much to help. And I'm very passionate about it because I was in a domestic violence relationship and I'm a survivor of it. And honestly, no one helped me with it. And I felt like I didn't have a voice. So I would like to help people and make them feel safe and make them feel like, hey, I have a voice and I could come to this person or people, this organization, and feel safe and know that I'm not getting judged or like I have a safe house, pretty much.
That's fucking awesome. I know that domestic violence cases were way on the rise because of the pandemic because people were pretty much locked in with their abusers.
Oh, 100%. And it's not just women. Like, it's men too, except the men don't like really come forward with it. but it's everyone. So why not help? If like if I can help somebody, then I'm happy with it.
We need more shit like that. And that's one of the things, like, we gotta, as a society, be more accepting of dudes coming forward about that shit, because like people can be physically and verbally abusive to dudes, and if like dudes even attempt to go to law enforcement about it, if they can bring themselves to do it, they'll probably get laughed
Well,
out.
they get made fun of, like, dude, what's wrong with you? And stuff like that and everything. Like, it has nothing to do with you not being macho or anything like that. It's just, you know, black and blues go away. And I say this all the time. Black and blues go away. But like, for someone to say over and over, like, oh, you're a piece of shit, you're an asshole, you're this, verbally and mentally, emotionally abusive and everything, it sticks more to you than a black and blue. So regardless whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter how macho you are or how strong you are or anything. At some point in time, it's like you're going to start believing it even though it's not true.
Yeah, you hear it enough times and it becomes true. And honestly, you're a stronger dude if you don't physically lash out at that shit. Then
right.
Because, you know, you could be a weak dude and be like, oh, she's treating me like shit, then fucking hit your significant other. And like, no, if you're the one who's like restraining themselves and taking this abuse, you're honestly a stronger person.
Right. But then honestly, for me, it took me 9 years to walk away. And like, I know there's a lot of girls in the industry that are probably in the same predicament that I was and everything. And like, for me, if I'm, like I said, if I'm able to help one person, then I'm happy, because like, you don't have to see it physically. Like, you could be happy on the outside, but like on the inside, you're slowly dying and nobody knows about it.
Oh yeah.
Because of that.
I mean, I definitely know performers that like show up to set every day. They're fucking happy, you know, happy go lucky. The minute they're off set, though, like their suitcase pimp boyfriend is fucking making their lives fucking miserable.
Right. And like, for me, I still don't understand like the whole pimp concept, because it's like, my pimp is my bank. So that's my pimp. Like, they take all my money, but at the end of the day, my bank lets me take it out whenever I want to. So that's my pimp.
So what is the charity actually doing to like actually help her? Like, you guys helping with housing, or what are you guys doing with it?
Well, right now I'm in the stage of all the paperwork, because there's a whole lot of paperwork that needs to be filled out. Like, whole lot of paperwork. But what I want to do is help with housing, help with financial status, eventually pick one family a month and just help them financially with whatever they need. So get a bunch of donations, like either from events that I hold, the merchandise that I sell. 5% of every merchandise that I sell goes to the charity. So, and 5% of all the show revenues go to the charity and everything, because I'm so passionate about this that I do want, like, I want to make sure that I'm not saying that I'm going to save the world, but I hope to save some people. And like, especially when there's kids involved, that's even worse.
100%. I mean, kids are fucking innocent. They didn't choose this. Like, they're just in a bad situation beyond their fucking control. So yeah, definitely, if you can help the children, that's so fucking important.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes like they're so quiet about it. Like, I know I wasn't able to tell my friends about it, my friends or family, about anything. You know, like, I have no kids. Thank God I have no kids with the person or whatever or anything, but I wasn't able to tell anybody. And then afterwards, people were like, why didn't you tell us? Because how can I tell somebody? You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was alone. Yeah. But if I was able to be like, okay, I could trust somebody, and like, I know that this is confidential and everything like that and discreet, then maybe I would come forward.
That's got to be fucking immensely difficult, just to trust somebody enough, because I'm sure there was fear if it got back to your partner, you know, what the fuck would happen.
Right. Well, I mean, it fucked with me emotionally and stuff like that. And like, but thankfully I got wiser and smarter, and thankfully. So yeah, it just took me 9 years, but yeah.
Hey, at least you got out. Like,
exactly.
Wow, we totally started this show on a fucking downer. Like, oh hey,
I know. Can we go on an upper, please? It's Friday.
It's Friday. We're drinking. Let's not talk about domestic abuse anymore. But like, you're doing important work.
Okay,
so I wanted people to know about it.
Yes, exactly. Now they know about it.
Now we can get back to drinking and have a good fucking time.
Exactly.
So, New York's been opening back up. You made it out to any comedy shows?
Comedy has been open and stuff. I have not, unfortunately, but I've been out to restaurants and it feels so good to be actually eating inside a restaurant right now. Except now you have to be vaccinated soon or you can't go out anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, my thoughts on it is basically it's not democracy anymore. It's not freedom. But if I still want to be employed and be going out in New York and stuff, I have to get the vaccine. So,
yeah, LA is not quite to that point yet, but I have a feeling we're going to be there real soon.
Well, LA and New York usually follow each other, don't they?
A lot of times. So we're currently at higher numbers than we were back in November. So I'm fully expecting the lockdown to happen, or at very least like mandatory vaccines. But the silly part about it is like, I know people that are not getting vaccinated who have basically fake documents already. It's not like it's hard to fucking fake a fucking one of those CDC cards. So is this really gonna make any fucking difference?
The whole fake CDC cards, I find it like, okay, and what if you get caught? You travel and then what? You get caught. So you pay $200 for a $20,000 fine.
Oh, I agree. I mean, this is all second, third hand. I heard about some friends of friends who like got caught trying to go into Canada like that. And it was a massive, massive fucking fine and the potential jail time with it.
Right. And it's not like you could get a lawyer with it. No. You got to pay it on demand. Like, so what's the point of getting a fake CDC card? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get the vaccine and that's it. Like, but to me, it's like, why are you putting so much pressure? It's not even FDA approved yet. Why are you putting so much pressure on it? And how is this freedom of anything?
It's one of those things where like, it's for the greater good, unfortunately. Like, potentially, it should be for the greater good. It's a communicable disease. Like, it'd be one thing, like, I don't want to get a vaccine that, like, it only affects me. Or it only affects me where, like, I have to make a choice like an STD or some shit like that. If you don't want to get an HPV vaccine or some shit like that, you can choose not to fuck. I can't really choose not to breathe on people.
Right. But when they push the vaccine so hard, that like, I'm not saying that the virus isn't real. Like, I know it's 1,000% real and everything. I know it for a fact. But when they push the vaccine so hard and give you bribery incentives as well, like, oh, we'll give you $100 and we'll give you this and we'll give you that. Like, it just makes me like, why are you pushing so hard?
Because they want capitalism. At the end of the day, the government's not really, they're motivated by the financial end of it. It's, if people are sick or people have to stay home, the supply chain continues to break down, work doesn't get done, and America loses its financial foothold. Right.
The whole shutdown for a year and a half was so uncalled for, though. It was just eerie. It was just so eerie to me. Like, you can't travel, you can't do this, and like, walking around like New York City and stuff like that, and like driving around New York City with no traffic. First off, I loved it. But then at the same time, I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. Like, everything is shut down.
Yeah, getting around LA was very similar. Like, holy fuck, I'm getting out to the valley in 15 minutes? What the fuck?
Oh, I know. When I was in LA, I think LA traffic is a whole lot worse than New York traffic. When I was shooting and stuff like that, like, I was told, if I need to get anywhere, make sure it's even if it's like 5 minutes away or whatever, make sure it's an hour drive. I plan an hour. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I'm like, well, how? So I really appreciate New York that much more. Like,
well, at least you guys have the options under normal circumstances, like take the subway if you want.
oh, I don't take the subway because I'm bougie, but I don't take the subway.
Well, for your average New Yorker, you have the option. Like
exactly.
In LA, if you're like, I want to take the subway, like, do you live in one of like four neighborhoods?
Have a subway?
We do.
No.
We do, technically.
Oh.
It goes
technically.
It goes from like North Hollywood to downtown, from downtown up to like Highland Park, and then from downtown down all the way to Long Beach. And that is like it.
Oh wow.
It goes to like a handful of places. Unless you're in one of the specific places the subway goes to, it is super not convenient. And if you're not like to get from Hollywood to LAX via like the subway, you got to like go downtown, then take another line to like almost down the fucking middle of nowhere, and then head all the way fucking west. It's like, fuck that.
Oh my God. And the bus is basically the same with the traffic. So it's pointless.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey, I'm going to just sit in traffic on a bus with a bunch of crazy people and nah, I'll pass.
Nah, I'm good. But like, to me, it's weird because everybody's like, oh my God, how are you doing in New York? Because the media makes it so much worse with all the crime stuff that goes on and everything. Don't get me wrong. The crime rate definitely went up. It's like, it's scary and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, the media really fucks things up, huh? Like, I'm so scared that the tourists are never going to come back. Thanks, Mayor. Like,
but, and unfortunately, that's just what the media wants to do, is because then you get clickbait headlines and people fucking pay attention to what the fuck's happening and click on their site, get the ad revenue. It's
all about the ratings.
Yeah, the ratings, the ad revenue, and making money. I mean, unfortunately, the media is about making money.
Right, exactly. It was like, it never used to be that way, but now it's like all about popularity. Like, you turn on one channel, it says one thing. Then you turn on another channel, it says a whole nother thing about the same exact story. It's like two different stories. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, well,
that's why I stopped watching the news.
Journalism and journalistic integrity is just not there what it used to be. They don't have the money anymore to like do investigative journalism anyway. So it's just like, for the most part, it's like clickbait headline, small article, never any follow up about it. And like, sometimes you read crazy shit and like 6 months down the road, I want to know what the fuck happened with that.
Well, that's why you go to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and you find everything out anyway. So what's the point of watching the news? You find everything out on Facebook anyway.
The problem is with Facebook is like, this is sometimes very questionable sources, or...
Oh yeah, 100%. If they don't agree with what the person is saying, they'll delete it. Like,
well, and we have a whole society who's like, oh, I'm going to post a meme. That's a fact. I'm like, memes are not facts.
Well, I mean, everybody thinks that whatever they're saying is like factual. Majority of the people.
Yeah. Well, I think as a society, one of the problems we have is that we've lost the ability to like look at things with nuance. It's like, no, not everything is this way or this way. It's like, well, it's somewhere in between. You got to look at like multiple angles on it, not just, oh, this happened, therefore this is wrong, or this happened, therefore this is right. It's like, well, how did we get there? What's the intent?
I think people forgot that we're allowed to have opinions. We're allowed to have different opinions. And I've never seen so much people talk about politics as much as I do right now. And like, I hate talking about politics. I hate it. But it's just like the loss of friendship, the loss of family and stuff like that because of it. I'm like, because you're a Democrat or a Republican, that's it. You're not talking to the other person. Like, how is that right? But before that, everything was fine.
I'm not sure everything was fine. I think everyone just wasn't fucking talking about it.
Right, exactly.
I think people were just suppressing that shit. And the problem is, at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be fucking Americans. We're supposed to be
right.
We should be looking at what's best for America, not what's best for Party A or Party B. Like, are you a politician? No. Then you're not really a member of the Democratic or the Republican Party. You
right.
vote for
you
them.
have your opinion. I have mine, but it doesn't mean that we should not be friends or we should not be talking or anything like that. We're allowed to have different opinions.
100%. The problem becomes when people are so steadfast in their opinions, they're not willing to accept any new information or admit that that their opinion can change. Not necessarily that they're wrong, that they can change their opinion. And that's where the problem lies. It's like, oh, no, I'm sticking with this opinion no matter what is presented. Either way, like on either side, quote, side.
Right. And like, I'm right, you're wrong, and that's it. And that's the way it's going to be, and blah, blah, blah. And otherwise, I'm not talking to you. Okay, we're 5 again.
Well, and
where
my whole thing, like during both election cycles, were like when people were like, oh, Trumpers are fucking idiots. I'm like, what world do you live in that like you're going to try to convince someone to change their point of view towards yours by calling them a fucking idiot?
Right. Like, regardless of who I voted for or whatnot, like, let's say if you voted for Biden and I voted for Trump or vice versa, it doesn't make, I'm not going to stop speaking to you because of it and be like, oh, I don't like you anymore. Just don't put your views on me, and I'm just not going to talk politics with you. I'm not going to talk politics with anyone. But like, that to me, I'm just like, I've never seen so much segregation as I do right now.
It's absolutely wild tribalism. And the problem is people identify as this thing, and then when you talk shit about the thing that they're not actually a part of, it's like getting upset when someone talks shit about your sports team. Like,
right.
Do you play on that fucking team? Do you own
the team?
Right. Like, why are you getting upset when I'm being like, I don't like that team? We have a difference of opinion. Like, are you going to get that upset when I'm like, I don't like that movie that you like?
Right. Like, oh my God, we can't speak no more. That's it. We're done. That's it. Conversation's over.
Yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. It's like, none of us, unless you're an actual politician, have shit to do with affect policy. We really are just like, I think that guy's gonna represent my views the best I can, but I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm not a member of either one of those fucking parties. I don't get elected.
You should. I'll vote for you.
Oh, you don't want to do that? I drink a lot.
That's okay.
I mean, I'm sure they do too, but
I'm sure.
I mean, hell, to be in office in the social media area,
you have to.
You have to be a fucking drunk.
You have to do something.
See, they should just, like, let them do hard drugs, and maybe if we let
the world would be a better place.
If we publicly let all our, Congress people and senators get coked out of their minds, maybe we get more done. Like, they take a lot of fucking breaks. We just got to
maybe they'll be happier.
Either that are really paranoid and fucking nuke somebody. Like,
who knows?
Whoops.
Trial and error. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll try it. We'll try it out. Like, just bags of cocaine for Congress.
Exactly.
Come on. Don't you want to see Pelosi just, like, take a rail off the fucking speaker's desk?
Like, or hear it, like, here we go.
All right. I call this to order. Wham, wham.
Oh, damn, the allergies are kicking in.
This pollen in D.C. Oh, it's so bad.
It would be funny to watch, though.
It would be. I'd be much more entertained by that shit than what's currently happening when,
100%.
Occasionally looking like, this is... I'm just hoping eventually we make it through this bullshit. And
me too, and I'm hoping that there's not another lockdown.
I know, but I think we're looking at it. I think it's gonna fucking happen.
If it is, I hope it's not for another year. Like, I hope it's not as long as it was last time.
I hope so too. I honestly, if like the fucking government had just gotten off their wallets and like really paid everyone to stay home for a fucking month, we probably would have been through this already.
Right.
But they're like, nah, we're gonna dick around and we're not gonna. We'll just maybe you'll be able to survive, maybe, and then
But you know what? Like, at least for us, because we're in the entertainment industry and stuff like that and everything, I don't collect, like, I don't have a paycheck. I don't work 9 to 5. I don't have a regular paycheck. So for me, it was like, okay, I had no money coming in because I wasn't working because they shut everything down. But the bills were still coming in. It wasn't like, oh, you're not working? Don't worry about the bills and stuff like that. And like, I'm just like, how is that fair to me or anybody else that's like in the Broadway or in theater or in the entertainment or in the comedy or, you know, everything?
I agree. And that's why the government should have got off their fucking wallets and been like, all right, here's enough fucking like real money to actually survive on.
Right.
Month, 2 months, stay the fuck home. Like, made real consequences for going out and fucking made it so people didn't have to. Because besides like people, you and I in entertainment, there are people that are just low fucking income that were surviving check to fucking check. And
then didn't have a check.
Yeah.
I think to me, that's just so messed up too. And like, I'm just like, that's not fair to anybody. Like, nobody.
Yeah, especially, we're America. We're supposed to be number fucking one. And you got other fucking countries around the world like, oh yeah, here's thousands a month to stay the fuck home.
Right. And then look at them now. I think they're partying it up or something like that. And then I see Lollapalooza and it's like, COVID what?
Oh,
did you see that?
Oh, I'm originally from Chicago. So like, besides seeing all the Lolla pictures, I have a bunch of friends still there that were just like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. I saw it and I was just like, and Rolling Loud too. I was like, so everyone forgot about COVID. Everyone forgot about it.
And I don't know how true this is, but there's stories coming out of Lolla, like, because you had to show your vaccination or your test status before you went into Lolla. But it's like, there's stories of, oh, I just had to flash a fucking phone at the guard. Security didn't care.
So then how, like, I believe that part, that it was just like, oh, here, and that was it. Here.
Well, I as someone who's worked security in the past, I 100% believe it too. Especially like venue security.
When
like
there's so many thousands of people.
There's so many thousands of people. These guys are getting directives from their bosses to just keep the line fucking moving. And these guys are making, probably in Chicago, maybe $10 an hour.
Right.
Like,
so they don't care.
Right, at $10 an hour, why would you give a fuck? Why is it worth getting yelled at? Because the line's not moving because you're actually doing your job right.
Right. So you might as well just be like, okay, go.
Yeah, just
keep on moving.
Keep fucking moving. Keep
moving. But it was just crazy. Like, I saw pictures and stuff and I was like, oh, okay. So that's where the shutdown's going to happen. Like,
that is the super spreader event of 2021. It's going to be great.
Yes, it's great.
I love that my former hometown is ground zero. Like, I'm happy to be on the West Coast, away from all that bullshit. Oh, I feel like we need to, like, we made it a little happier getting away from domestic violence, but we're still like,
yes, we did.
We're still like, oh yeah, plague, fucking the world's falling apart.
But still, at least we're laughing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm having a great fucking time. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
I'm like, I think we should try to bring it up another notch.
Yes, I think we should.
More fun shit. So what have you been doing for fun though? During the like year and a half lockdown in New York, have you gone on like any Zoom dates or any shit like that? Like,
no.
No.
I have never done the whole online dating thing just because I watch too much SVU. So I have never done the whole online dating. But what have I done? I don't know. Like, my best friend came over and like we had a lot of edibles and stuff, and like that was like that was the fun that we had because there was nothing else to do.
So wait, how are edibles in New York? Because weed's still illegal there, right?
Weed is legal.
Oh, it's legal now? I thought it was still...
Yeah, weed is legal.
Oh, okay.
I don't smoke though, but she makes her own edibles and stuff. She makes her own gummies. So it's great. Like we just eat it and I'm like, this is fucking fantastic. Like, I'm like, oh, I could sleep like a baby, but I could laugh too and everything like that. And I'm like, this is great. And we're also like drinking. And so that's the fun because there was nothing else to do. But now that we could go out, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, honestly, back to quickly touching on COVID. I am so like going back into lockdown since I've had that like taste of freedom of being back out at bars and restaurants. Like,
I know.
it's like if it had gone on, like just kept us locked down, I probably would be more equipped to handle it mentally than being like, oh yeah, I was just in a restaurant. I had food served to me. I had a lot of fun. I bullshitted with friends, got some wine. That was all such a good time. And then like,
those were back in the day. Remember those good times?
Right. It being so
what did you do?
Oh shit. Well, you're looking at a lot of what I've been doing for the last year and a half. Like a lot of this, whole lot of like, oh yeah, we're just bullshitting, drinking on fucking the internet. But
why not?
A lot of otherwise, I've been just doing a lot of content creation. Like I became a fucking Twitch streamer. Like I play video games for entertainment.
Why not? Nice.
Yeah, the way I looked at it was I was going to be playing video games while I was stuck inside anyway, so I might as well try to make some money at it because I have the same sickness that a lot of people have is I don't have hobbies. I just try to make money from everything I fucking do.
I'm the same way. Like people are like, so what are your hobbies? I'm like, I don't know. Like sleeping, is sleeping a hobby? Is shopping a hobby? Like, I don't know.
Taking a long bath and relaxing, that's the hobby.
I like long walks on the beach and stuff. Like
I mean, fuck. Technically, before the pandemic, in the loosest sense, travel was a hobby for me. Like, you know, like I like to.
Oh, I love traveling.
I'd like to go. I've been all around the world, and like I like to fucking go get weird in fucking other countries. But at the end of the day, like some of that was for content creation too. It wasn't like I'm going to create content, but while I'm there, I'm creating content.
OnlyFans?
No,
I'm kidding.
Hey, what are you saying? I can't have an OnlyFans? What kind of discrimination? Of course you can. What kind of discrimination is that?
I know you can.
No, I could. It'd just be I'd be jerking off.
Everyone should subscribe to his OnlyFans. You never.
Like
I would subscribe.
It's not that I don't want to jerk off for bears. It's just not what I find sexually arousing. You're so stupid. Like I know what my demo would be to fucking me stroking it off. Like, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Oh, okay. Well, I have one. Okay, well, shit. We're just cutting the podcast. Like, I guess this is becoming a cam show. I'm going to stop recording real quick. Like,
let's do it. Oh, yes, baby. Take it off.
Well, shit. I don't know. I'm not even set up for tipping. Oh, I'm doing this all wrong. I'm just I'm giving it away for free. I'm fucking up here.
Ooh, take it off.
Well, I was like, this is the first interview I've ever done where like the host is asking to get naked, not the other. What? How is this working?
No, it's fine. I like it. Keep going, Magic Mike. Yes. Mm-hmm. See, you got the moves and everything.
For the video version, you'll have to check out what's happening. The audio, you're missing absolute magic right now.
You just get my narration.
I don't see dollars, Alana. I don't see any dollars. Nothing else is coming off. This gotta make it rain. Gotta make it rain.
Here you go.
So when it's safe to do so, where the fuck do you want to go? Where's the first place you're going to?
I would love to go to Bahamas. First place I want to go just to lay out and do nothing.
Have you been before?
Yes. I love it there. So just like even for a weekend, because it's international, but the flight is so close that like it's still good. It's only like 3 hours away, but it's still international that you need a passport. So I'm like, oh, I love it. So I definitely want to go there.
Are you doing like a resort and just like they bring you fucking everything?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What about you? Where would you go?
I want to go back to Japan.
I've never been.
Tokyo is amazing.
I heard amazing things.
Like I've been to Tokyo twice. It is absolutely my favorite place on the planet. My audience's eyes are rolling because this happens every time travel comes up. They're just like, oh, Matt's going to talk about Japan again. Great. But
no, I definitely want to go.
It's just such a wild fucking place. Because imagine LA sprawl, but Manhattan density everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So it's just...
And like, I've seen pictures and stuff and everything. It looks amazing. Amazing.
It
And I
is.
hear the food is phenomenal. I'm a foodie.
Oh yeah, no, the food is absolutely fucking amazing. The only places I've ever gotten a bad meal in Tokyo was one at the airport, and you can't count airport food mostly. Like,
You can never count on an airport for any, like, for none of the airports actually.
yeah, and the other one night while we were drunk, we went out to a place called Freshness Burger. It was like a Japanese fucking burger joint, like fast food. And it was just like, why are we eating fast food burgers in Japan? Why are we doing this?
But when you're drunk, you know what? The greasiest food and like the fast food and stuff, you love it. Like I know when I'm drunk and everything and hungover, all I want is McDonald's.
But we could have found ramen, or like one of the really common fast foods there is these rice
That's true.
bowls. You just like, it's like $7 and it's like a bowl of rice, like whatever meat you want grilled to order, and like an egg you crack over it. It's so fucking good. It's like $6.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Oh, it's really good. And like the yolk on the egg's like bright orange. It's such a fucking fresh egg. It's so much better than any fucking like burger you're gonna get in Japan.
Now you're making me want to go and like just for that.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing, and you can just
When are
stumble
you
around.
taking me?
Oh, I guess we're going. All
I
right,
guess so.
all right.
My bags are packed.
Shit. All right. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to book us a room at the Ritz. So that just judging already on the bouginess level.
You know me so well.
I know. We only met like 40 minutes ago, and I've already gauged it. Like,
I know you already know me so well. We became besties.
I will have to break it to you though. You really do need to take the subway to get around in Tokyo.
That's okay. You could be my bodyguard.
Oh, I'm on it. But it's
Yes.
also like trains there are like different than anywhere else. Like it's considered rude to be like talking on the train. People just
What?
like, people just are on the train like quietly riding.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so culturally different.
Holy shit. Because in New York, when I did take the train, like you couldn't even hear yourself think. That's how loud it was. And I'm sure it just got louder over the years.
Oh, I'm sure as the MTA is like not keeping up with maintenance, it's between the train and the
I'm not
people.
giving a fuck and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, no. Oh, I definitely want to go to Tokyo.
Oh, you gotta go.
It's definitely on my bucket list.
Otherwise, I'd like to go back to Cuba. Cuba was fucking rad.
I want to go to Cuba. I want to go to Colombia.
Colombia was awesome. I went to Bogota in 2018.
Oh, nice.
And like, that was a real interesting place. Where do you want to go in Colombia?
I just want to go to Colombia and see it. Like, I've been not for the drugs or anything, or Cuba for the drugs, but like, I've seen it and like, it just looks beautiful. So like, and my old hairstylist used to go to Colombia like once a month. So I'm like, I just want to see what the hype is all about because everybody keeps talking about Colombia. So I'm like, I just want to see.
Do you want to go to Medellin or Bogota?
Medellin, yeah.
I've heard great things. Like I heard that city is a lot of fucking fun. Bogota is a wild place. Like I want to go to Medellin.
Better than Medellin?
I don't know. I've heard Medellin was actually a better city, but the friends I went with were just like, fuck it, Bogota, it's the capital. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. How far is it away from each other?
It's not super far. It's a fairly short flight, but you know, jungle, so you gotta fly it.
Oh wow, okay.
Like that's one of the crazy parts about like Colombia and like those parts of South America is like you can't get to some parts of the country without flying to them because it's just like they're separated by fucking jungle.
Oh wow, so you can't even drive.
Yeah, you have to fly it. And what I didn't realize, like, Bogota's like the third largest city in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh wow.
It's huge. It's like Mexico City, New York, Bogota.
Oh wow, that's dope.
And it's just like, holy shit. And it's like high in the fucking mountains. Like people get elevation sickness when they get there and shit. But
oh my god.
you can take cable cars up to like up in the mountains that surround the city and like see down to the fucking city. And it's just like, oh my god, this place is fucking
And I'm
beautiful.
sure at night it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, but it's also like you can definitely tell that like this country's seen some shit in recent years because like
100%.
you go around the Capitol, like there's these old beautiful buildings, like, but there's also like armed security, like military checkpoints with AKs. Just like,
Oh, really?
just around the blocks, like they don't stop you or arrest you, but they're there. You see them, like.
Oh, wow.
You get within a couple blocks of like the Supreme Court or the Capitol, and there's just dudes with AKs just on the street.
See, at least I know that I'm safe and stuff, but at the same time, like, that's scary too, because I'm like, that's like Israel, where I'm like, I have family in Israel. I've been to Israel and stuff and everything, but I'm like, I don't want to get off the plane and see like, you know, the military with like AK-47s, like, hey, welcome.
How was Israel? Like, I'm a bad Jew. I should go at some point, but
Well, I'm a Jew too, so
I assume most people that aren't members of the tribe are like, Israel, let's go.
No, well, I was 12 or 13 when I went, so I can't really remember much, but like, it was beautiful. Beautiful. And like Tel Aviv was beautiful and stuff. I want to go now when I'm older because I'll appreciate it that much more. But like with everything that's going on, I'm so scared to go. Just because of all the, like, there will never be peace or anything like that. But like I said, to get greeted by like the military and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I really want to.
It's one of those things where like that part of the world never really had that much appeal for me. Like, I feel like I should see Israel just to see Israel, because who knows, if shit gets real crazy in our lifetimes, Israel may cease to exist. I mean, the country's only existed within our grandparents' lifetimes.
Right.
You know,
I mean, it's always good to see where you came from.
well, besides the biblical sense, who knows if we really came from there? Like,
That's true. I mean, I was born in Russia, but I came when I was 8 months old. So I've never been back. I don't have family there. I don't have friends there, nothing like that. And everybody's like, don't you want to see where you came from? I'm like, not really. Like, because I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I came from. Like, 8 months old, I was there. So that's all I know and I remember. So that's pretty much all I know.
yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, my family's, you know, for the most part, been here. I'm fourth generation in, but yeah, we're all like Russian, Czech, Austrian, you know, German.
Oh,
Jews.
see, that's why we get along. Okay.
Yeah, Eastern European, mutt Jew. But I want to go to Russia at some point. Like, I just want to. There's so much fucking history there. It's supposed to still be a pretty fucking wild place. Like, just gotta keep your head a little low.
It's beautiful and stuff. You just got to learn how to speak Russian because I speak like I'm 3. So
it's better than me. That is absolutely better than, like, when I travel abroad, I try to at least learn some phrases and shit. Like, so, because I find that people always treat you better when you at least make an attempt to speak their language first.
Right.
And like, I know when
Thank God for Google Translator.
Fuck yeah. And pro tip to anyone who's listening, Google Translate works offline if you download the language first. You don't even have to have
right,
internet
exactly.
access. I didn't know that until like I got to Cuba with no internet. I'm like, oh shit, I can use this shit offline?
Yes, let me do it now.
But I don't know, like Russian. I know when I was in Finland, I like tried to learn some fucking Finnish words and it was just like, nope, brain is not accepting this.
Really? Like, I can't read or write, obviously. Like, I understand everything because my family spoke Russian, but I always answered back in English. So I would just never really know how to speak Russian. So right now, like, I make up my own language as I go along, like half English, half Russian, half like, I just make it up. So I'm like, it is what it is. You got to understand it or you don't. That's it.
So why do you think your parents like didn't try to like get you going second language with Russian?
You know, I don't even know. It's just, to me, like, I think that they thought that because they spoke it in the house, I would learn it and stuff and everything. But I spoke mostly English, obviously. So I wouldn't really speak Russian or anything. So to me, they never really said, no, you need to speak Russian and you need to do that. So I guess it was never really like a big thing for them.
Makes sense. I know with some immigrant families, they're like, no, you're an American now, so you need to go out and learn English and
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of family like that, but to me, as long as like I understand everything, then I'm fine with it.
Well, I guess you're going to have to be my translator when we go to Russia.
No problem. Let's do it.
Once again, there'll be another train involved because I want to do the Trans-Siberian Railroad.
No problem. My bags are packed.
I mean, that's a bougie trip if you do it right. Like, have you ever looked into doing the Trans-Siberian?
Yes, I would like. I want to. I don't know if we could do it right now per se, but yeah,
Probably not.
probably not. But I'm pretty sure soon. Hopefully.
Actually, have you looked into getting into Russia? Because like, it's not an easy visa, and I think if you're former Russian, there's problems about getting in as an American.
I did not look into it.
Yeah, because
I will, and I'll get back to you on that one.
okay, I will follow up with you on that one. Because like, as just an American, like it's like. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't have a dual. I'm an American citizen. I don't have like a Russian citizenship or nothing.
Well, it's. I believe one of the questions like on the visa application was like, "Have you ever denounced your Russian citizenship?"
I wouldn't know because I was 8 months old.
Right. Like, so I don't
probably did.
Right. Like I don't know how that works for you. Like I'm sure because of that question, your parents couldn't go back if they wanted.
Right. But my mom doesn't want to go back. Like she never wanted to go back or anything like that. So I'm like, okay.
Where in Russia did you guys come from?
I know it's a small village in Russia. That's all I know.
Like more towards the European side or like more towards the Asian side?
It was Russia when we moved out, and then it became Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
After.
Okay.
Yeah. So I technically still call it Russian because it was Russia when we moved out.
Hey, depending on what part of Ukraine it is now, it's Russia again. If it's in Crimea,
Exactly.
if it's in Crimea, it's back to being Russian. So
Exactly.
that's just a wild part of the world. Like, look, it's such weird, rich history, and like since my mother's side, on my grandmother's side's from there, it's just like I'm curious about it.
Do you ask about it or?
I'm not really because. My grandparents were born in the States. It was their parents that came. So
Okay.
And my grandparents have passed on at this point, so no one's really got the history. But it's still like, okay, well, that's the great grandparents came from there, and like by the time they came from there, like this pre-communist revolution.
Oh, okay.
Because
wow, so you missed all the communism,
all the crazies. Yeah, because my grandparents were born in 21. Yeah, they were born in 21 in the States. So.
Oh, wow.
So the Russian Revolution was 1917. So
yes.
So they had to I'm pretty sure they were already established in the States before all that shit went down. But it's, the imperialist Russia was not exactly kind to our people either.
Right. I mean, my mom would tell me stories all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I think that's why she doesn't want to go back. But I'm like, I want to go eventually just to see where I came from. It would be cool.
Yeah, and the dollar goes fucking far.
Yes, it does.
Like a couple of years ago, I was looking at going and it's like, I can stay at the Ritz Moscow for like how much a night? All right.
How much was it?
It was like $100 US a night.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like that to stay at the Ritz Carlton for that price? All right, I'm in.
I'll do it for a year.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to stay in Russia that long, but
no, I'm kidding.
No, you're not. It's like, oh, I live in the Ritz now. Look at how baller
right?
I am.
Hey, now, if you thought I was bougie then, I'm more bougie now.
A lot of big fur coats, living in the Ritz.
Exactly.
I feel like if you're in Moscow, you got to like rock big fur coats.
You need to have the fur coat. If you're in Moscow, you need to have the fur coat.
There's going to be some hate comments on that, like, how dare you guys wear fur? It's more like,
for the PETA thing? Yeah, I know.
Whatever. Like, is what it is. If the animals didn't want to get slaughtered, they'd escape. It's their fault. No, that I'm going to get some shit on that one, I'm sure. These are the things that happen. But yeah, I want to do Russia. I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see some more Western Europe. Like I've only been to Spain, France, and the UK, and Germany. Shit, and the Netherlands. Okay, I've been all over.
Definitely want to travel more. I think I took it for granted because I was like, oh, we could like anytime, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And now with this whole shutdown, I'm like, you know what? You never know. You never know.
Yeah, this whole thing is illustrated that society barely hanging on by a thread.
Right, exactly. So when everything opens up, I'm definitely taking advantage.
Just right to the Bahamas?
Straight to the Bahamas and wherever else it takes me.
Are you taking me with to the Bahamas too?
Of course, duh.
All right, I guess I'll have to dance for you for that one.
Ooh, yes. Yes, yes.
I'll even rock a banana hammock for you on the beach. Just
Ooh, don't threaten me with a good time.
It's like just bright yellow Speedo. Just yeah.
Yes. Ooh, I can't wait.
Oh, wow! This is just my whole life is changing because of this podcast. I didn't realize.
Oh, thank God! Thank God, mine too.
Got a new travel buddy. Hell yeah!
Yes, this is fantastic.
Are you still in Brooklyn these days? Or are you like moved into the city?
I'm in Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey.
I'm in Jersey. Yeah, I'm in Jersey, but I'm in the city a lot. So I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm always in the city. So, but I'm in Jersey now.
What made you decide to make the jump to Jersey?
Parking.
Fair enough.
The amount of parking tickets I got in Brooklyn because of no parking or anything, I was just like, yeah, no, I can't. So I'm just like, I need parking and everything, and like everything's a parking lot. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So here I am. I told you, I'm spoiled.
I see that. I see that. Like my former roommate just moved back from LA to Brooklyn, and he was just telling me like the shenanigans he's going on with parking there. I'm like, yeah, this is.
No, it would take me legit, no lie. It would take me like 2 hours to find parking.
Fuck that.
To the point where I would just park in like a fire hydrant, a bus stop, and just be like, if I get a ticket, I get a ticket. I don't even care.
Apparently one of his neighbors put cones down in front of his spot. And like if other people parking in the spot, like plasters fucking stickers all over the car about like that they're in violation and they're going to get towed.
Oh my God. That's actually pretty good. That's smart.
That's a whole nother level. I don't know. It's smart until you get the wrong motherfucker that you put a sticker on.
Yeah, that's true. But hopefully you don't get that wrong person. But yeah, that's true. But that's pretty smart though. Not for nothing.
I'm sure it's a good hustle that's worked for a number of years for him. But you know, you get the wrong guy who's like, I'm going to put a brick through your window then. All right.
Or I'm just going to slash your tires.
Right. I know where you park, motherfucker.
Right. Like you have the cones. But no, thank God for parking now. So I'm happy.
See, that's with me in LA and Hollywood. Like, I refuse to go to a place that does not have a parking spot. That's just one of my 2 requirements for a place in Hollywood. It's like, got to have a parking spot. And at least bare minimum, I have to have, washer dryer in building. Like, I'm not going to a laundromat. Of course,
I have it in my unit.
Well, I got one in my unit too, but my previous place was in building.
Oh, okay. So as long as like you don't have to walk out of like the building and stuff and everything, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking have I don't want to go to a laundromat. Fuck that.
It's all about convenience.
Yeah, the idea of like, not like I'm talking so bougie and privileged, and I'm like, laundromat.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, you live at a place where you want to call home and stuff. Like, why would you want to go to a laundromat and stuff when you could have it at your convenience?
I agree. And once again, this last year and a half has really illustrated the point of having a comfortable home.
Oh, 100%, because you need a place to call home because you only saw 4 walls.
I couldn't imagine living in a place where like, oh, I'm uncomfortable as shit in here. Fuck. And I didn't care because I was out all the time.
Right. And now it's like, oh, I can't go nowhere.
Honestly, what I imagine like New York living would be like for me is like, I would have some place that was just okay and just never be in it. Like, this is where I sleep. Just because like.
No, for me, I need a place that I could call home and stuff. Because I'm out so much because of work and everything that when I'm home, I like to be comfortable. And I like to know that like, I'm home and stuff and not just like, all right, this is where I lay my head at night.
I've definitely done both over the course of my life, and I'm definitely at an age and point where I'm like, no. I like to have comfort, but
Right.
that's also why I've never desired to live in New York. I love visiting New York. I love visiting there. Like, I always have a good time there, but it's also like, I would probably just end up in a spot that was just like, this is where I lay
But
my head.
that's why I chose Jersey. Because I'm so close to the city, but at the same time, I refuse to live in like a size of a box and pay so much money for nothing.
Yeah, just for the location, like, oh, hey, I'm in the city. Cool.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I'll go to the city. It's fine. Like, I'll drive to the city. I'm not going to live in the city.
Part of me wishes like it was New York, LA kind of went back to like 70s, 80s dingy, where it's like, oh, hey, rent prices are cheap enough that you can get a halfway decent spot.
It'll never be that way.
I know. I know.
But wishful thinking.
I've been rewatching The Deuce recently, and I'm like, 70s New York looked just fucking wild. Do you watch that show?
No, I have to watch it. I have to watch it.
Do you know what it's about?
I know what it's about. But I have to watch it because I love all the shit about New York because I'm like, oh my God, I know this spot and I know this spot. And like, that's why I love it. And like, I have to watch it.
Grimy 70s New York is such a great setting. It's just, it makes for just visually, and just the stories that came from it are just amazing. And
I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
And David Simon, who did The Wire, also like is a great producer storyteller.
The Wire was great.
Yeah, it's from the same team. So I know a lot of people in the industry, when they first heard about it, they're like, how dare a bunch of fucking civilians do a show about the origins of porn? They did it right, especially like talking about the mob involvement and the evolution of it going from, especially in New York, like street level prostitution into, dirty movies, into porn, the porn industry
and
we know now.
What it is now. So they did it right.
Crazy to think that like there are people in the industry these days, because of how commercially acceptable it is, like how it's not fully socially acceptable to be a part of this industry, but it's much more socially acceptable than it was 15, 20 years ago.
I mean, there's still a stigma behind it, but you're right. People don't view it as like, oh my God, look at her. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still people like that. There's still a lot of people like that. But there's a lot more people going into the industry now being like, this is fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as bad as it was before, pretty much. What? And now with like OnlyFans and stuff and everything like that, you don't really need an agent. You don't need to travel. All you need is your phone or your camera and your own studio, pretty much.
One, OnlyFans is getting people that would have never thought about sex work into sex work.
Right.
Your average waitress, bartender, college student, they're all like...
Even nurse.
Yeah. Like, that horrible fucking story out in New York about was a EMT or a nurse that got outed for having an OnlyFans and lost her job during the fucking pandemic.
Right. To me, it's like, I mean, really? For what? Like, to me, that's fucked up.
It is.
Because what you do on your own personal time outside of work, that's your personal time. If you're a good nurse and a good employee, then you know what? Like, who cares what you do on your outside? So no one has sex? Like, no one records it? You know what I mean? Because she decided to put it on OnlyFans? It'd
be one thing if, like, she was wearing her fucking nurse's uniform that had the name of the hospital on it.
Right, but
she's not.
The fact that... Exactly. So to me, it's like, that's bullshit. And they just, like, they're just looking for reasons. And, like I said, a lot of people are not going to accept it. But at the same time, like, don't fire someone for it. Don't look at them and be like, oh, my God, look at you.
Yeah, we still have a long way to go for it truly to be fully socially acceptable. But my original point was, like, it's not like the back in the day where the mob was, deeply involved. And, like, to be in the industry, you pretty much were just being part of a criminal enterprise.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Now it's actually legit and legal and stuff. Like, if you do it right, then it's legal and legit, and you could even pay taxes.
You better pay taxes. Even if you're doing it illegally, you better still pay taxes.
Exactly. Exactly.
The IRS don't give a fuck. They will get their money.
One way or another.
Yeah.
That's the mob.
Yeah, that's the real mob. And like, you'll wish that they broke your legs.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just wild to like, in the course of, someone's lifetime, it's gone from like being completely a criminal organization to fucking, the girl next door really shooting her own shit. It's just a wild.
Times changed. And you know what? Like, it's just evolving, and who knows what's going to happen in a few years from now. Who knows? And it's just going to keep growing, and it's just going to keep evolving.
Hopefully it gets to a point where like it's actually a protected class, because that's the one thing whenever I have civilian friends who are like talking about like, oh, I'm thinking about, getting into the industry and stuff like that. I'm like, please, 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 please. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, please consider the long-term consequences, because an employer 10, 15 years from now could still fire you from your fucking civilian job because you did one fucking scene and they saw it.
Oh, 100%. Because the internet, like, it's there forever.
Yeah. It is, once you have done a scene, it is absolutely there forever. And like, that's one thing I never got where like, I know some performers that were like, I'm a part-time performer. Like, I do like a couple scenes a year. It's like, you generally got a limited time in this biz, and you've done the damage by doing one scene. So why not jump in both feet? That was just my opinion on it. But
I have your opinion on it, but a lot of people just view it differently.
Yeah.
They just like, I don't know. They just view it differently. I went in full time. That's me. Like, if I'm going in, I'm doing it full time and everything. So, and I've done it for 15, 16 years, and then I retired about 2 years ago. That's
an amazingly long career.
And thankfully, because of my fans and my supporters and everything, I'm still relevant. So thankfully, even after all these years, I'm like, thank you.
And that's fucking awesome. But you and I both know that like, that's not the average career in the biz.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Not a lot of, like, unfortunately, not a lot of girls make it past like 2-3 years.
For a various number of reasons. They get tired of the bullshit. Like, a lot of times, girls meet a dude who's like cool with what they do until it's time for them to go back to work and leave the biz for.
That's majority of the people.
Yeah. Like, everyone wants to date a porn star until it's time for a porn star to go to work.
Exactly. Until you catch feelings and it's like, oh no, I don't want you doing that.
You know what you signed up for. Like that.
Yeah, but then it's always Captain Save-A-Ho.
Oh, so. In a lot of cases, it's broke Captain Save-A-Ho.
This is true. 100% true.
Like, if you're filthy rich Captain Save-A-Ho, go save that hoe. Like, if you were going to,
right?
Like, oh yeah, give up, especially 10 years ago, a good working performer really could make easily 6 figures.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not unless you're an OnlyFans superstar. And then.
Right. Right, exactly.
But if you're
Times definitely changed.
If you're just shooting scenes, and you're not making that kind of money. Times
definitely changed. And like, honestly, the free porn killed the business.
Oh yeah. And it's wild to see the evolution of, because I got in 2010, 2011. When I got in, the people I was working for, like, the hub was the fucking enemy. Like, stealing everyone's shit. And
right, but now there's awards for it.
Right. Now there's awards for it. Now they're the biggest content producer on the fucking market. Like, they own so many fucking sites. They produce so many content. I just was working on a crew for MindGeek. Like, it's just weird to watch
how
that.
Times definitely changed. The times definitely changed.
For a time there, they were paying models out on like a YouTube-esque model where it's like, oh, well, if your scenes get this many clicks, at least we're getting you some sort of payout, instead of just flat out stealing people's content.
And it's not just Pornhub, it's X videos, it's a lot of different sites and stuff and everything. And honestly, that's what killed the industry.
Yeah.
But people don't see it that way.
People were slow to adapt to like losing physical media. And
right.
we as an industry made the mistake of forever and a day, like a lot of models, personal paid sites and shit like that would freely allow their users to download the video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you think it got pirated? Because they just have a copy of it that they can just distribute now.
Right. Like, okay, so now what? You know what I mean? But hopefully that changes, but I don't think it will.
Yeah. I think the OnlyFans model is going to happen for a while, but like I talk about this all the time where it's like, You don't have a contract with OnlyFans. You have a terms of service. They can change that shit at will.
Right.
You can be making 6 figures a month today, and tomorrow be making significantly less. And what the fuck are you going to do about it if all your eggs are in that basket?
A lot of people don't think that way, though.
I know. It's unfortunate.
A lot of people don't think that way, and it is unfortunate, but that's why you always need to have a backup plan.
I tell that to performers all the fucking time. I was just on set with like brand new performer, like shot a handful of her scene, like first couple of scenes with us. And I was driving her back to the hotel after set, and she was just so stoked to like have been on set and like shooting. And like, and the conversation, I'm like, save some of this money.
Right.
Like,
well, when I first started, like, it was funny because it was such fast, easy money and like good money and everything. Like, you know, you don't know what to do with it. And like, and I was younger too, obviously, that I was just like not saving or anything until one day I was like, oh, fuck, like, what do I do now? And then that's when like, I was like, okay, I really need to start saving. Because one day it could just disappear.
You know, all it takes is like, especially in this day and age where it's like all fucking algorithms and data, like just to take a downturn in your numbers and be like, oh, we're just going to book her less because like her scenes aren't fucking moving.
Right, exactly.
You have some fucking crazy internet controversy and like people are just like, nah, I'm cool. We don't want to deal with that drama.
Yeah, like we don't like her no more or something.
You know, just like any form of entertainment, it's fucking fickle.
I mean, just like anything.
Generally, like I want to say porn and entertainment a little more fickle than your average show job, but like who wants to go work one of those?
I know, right?
Fuck that. Fuck making other people a bunch of money for like you're just sweating away to show up and be like, can I please have 2 weeks of vacation, sir? Please.
Yeah, right. And can I get my paycheck in 2 weeks?
Please. Maybe some healthcare, pretty please.
Yeah, right. Please.
Please. Please. Please. And if people are happy with that shit, if you're listening to this and you're happy with that in your life, good on you. It's just.
And listen, kudos to you. I'm not knocking it. I'm not.
I'm knocking it for me.
But it's not for me.
Right. I know you managed like nightclubs and like were the financial manager of a nightclub before you got into the industry. It was like, how'd you end up falling into that?
Well, I was always in the nightlife. I was always running a front door of the city and of the clubs in the city and stuff. I have a degree in accounting and marketing. So I've done the books for different clubs in the city. So basically, I was always in the hospitality industry. I was always in the nightlife. And then I was an accountant and marketing manager, and the economy turned to shit. So this was in the early 2000s or something. And someone told me about the Cat House show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I started watching it and stuff, and I started laughing at it and everything. But I was like, maybe I could get into the adult entertainment. And lo and behold, that's how Alana Luv got her shot.
Nice. I was just curious, like, the nightlife end of it, because, like, New York nightlife is legendary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been, like, I used to go out since I was 16 years old. Maybe that's why I'm such a homebody right now. But I'm like, you know, the nightlife is not the same now as it used to be back then. But it was great back then. Now it's like, I go out and I'm like, oh my God, did I get older or did everybody get younger? Like, holy shit. I prefer the strip clubs over the nightclubs, though. New
York strip clubs are weird. I've only been to, what is it, Sapphire that always brings in the features?
Yes, I work at Sapphire.
I've been to that Sapphire. It was just like, there are so many Wall Street bros here. It's full of fucking suspenders and fucking, it was just a weird scene for me. It was just like,
but it's just a very chill, like laid back environment. As opposed to like a nightclub now where it's like everybody's on top of each other. Like drinks are spilling all over you unless you have a table or a bottle service and stuff like that and everything. I'm like, I'm not going to be around like just pushing everybody out the way.
Why would anyone want to go to a nightclub without bottle service? Just asking.
That's true. I agree with you 100%.
Like, I don't like nightclubs. I will only get dragged to one if there is bottle service. Like, can I sit at a table and drink from your bottle? Otherwise, I am not going.
I agree. 100%. I agree.
The last time I was at Sapphire, I was there hanging out with a feature. It was hilarious to me because like I must have looked so out of place to the door staff because the feature was already inside, and I just rolled up to the door and I'm like, "Hey," and they're like, "Oh, you're with the feature, aren't you?" Because I'm dressed like this. Like, yeah, you're not our regular clientele. Go on in. I'm like,
okay. Hi.
like, oh yeah, scummy looking metal dude. Yep. I'm here with the feature.
Hi. That's
What were your spots in New York back in the day? Like when you were working in the nightlife?
I used to, well, the first club I ever went to was Sound Factory. I used to work at Duvet, Taj, Touch. A lot of them are not around anymore. Webster Hall, Pasha, which was Sound Factory.
Was the Limelight
pretty much everywhere.
Was the Limelight still a thing at that point, or?
It was. I just never worked there. I used to go there.
All right.
But that's when I was like under the age that I was not allowed to go. But I still managed to go.
Was like when you were going to the Limelight, was that like during like the crazy club kid era? Like, fucking Party Monster, Michael Anik. You've seen the movie Party Monster, right?
No, I don't think I have.
With Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green.
Maybe I have. I just don't remember it.
It was about like the New York club kids that like did like these really elaborate parties at Limelight and shit like that, like with crazy costuming and like it was just a crazy scene. And like I forgot.
I mean, back in the day, like the clubs were crazy. The clubs were crazy and stuff, and like I would go there a lot. I would just be in the club scene all the time and everything. And then I started working in the whole club scene, and I'm still in the whole, except now I'm in the strip club industry.
The strip club industry is its own wild fucking industry. Like, because I've spent a lot of time as a roadie for features, and like I've been to clubs all over the country, and it's just like a lot of them are the same, but they're a little different in each one.
Well, yeah, and it depends what city you go to and stuff like that. Jersey clubs are different than city clubs, and like city clubs are different than Queens clubs and stuff. So it's just all different. It depends on what city and state you go to and everything.
Oh yeah. So outside of your home club, what's your favorite club? Anywhere in the country?
Well, I'm going to be biased and say Sapphire.
Okay. Well, I'm
besides
Sapphires, and
and Hustler.
Which Hustler location?
Well, obviously in New York.
Okay.
But I like Florida strip clubs are good too.
Yeah.
I just can't think of names right now. I'm blanking out. But
it's been a long time since I've been to a Florida club, but my very first strip club was in South Beach, and it was just like this is a crazy place. I was underage.
Well, it's more of a party scene than anything. It's not just like a strip club. It's more of a party scene. So that's what's good about it too, because it's like you get to chill, you get to like drink, and it's not like no one harasses you, really.
Which is like the polar opposite in like Vegas strip clubs. I've decided like Vegas strip clubs are my least favorite place on the planet. Mm-hmm. Because I get it. Like everyone who's working is like on their hustle, and like 99% of your clientele are tourists who don't know shit. So it's just like they're just trying to turn over fucking dances and make your money. Like I don't hate that hustle. It's just not what I want to attend as clientele.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And like I'm more of, for me, I prefer longevity with the person. I prefer creating a relationship with the person and not just like, oh, so you want a lap dance? No, bye. You know what I mean? Like you feel it out, you see how it is and stuff like that and everything. And if the connection is there, the connection is there. If it's not, it's not. But you never know. But I'm not going to be the one to harass, because at the end of the day, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I agree. Unfortunately, like with the amount of like performers that Vegas clubs book, it just never seems to work that way. Like I've only met like one dancer in all the times I've ever been to a Vegas club where like they were cool to just chill. Like,
right.
Got dragged there with fucking civilian friends. We got bottle service, and like dancer rolled through. I'm like, yo, I'm here because of my civilian friends. Like, don't waste your time on me. Like, I'm just here babysitting them. And she's like, is it cool if I just sit? I'm like, yeah, oh, chill. She's like, have a drink, like, chill.
Right.
But
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of us like that.
but you'd be amazed how many, performers
There
just,
aren't.
well, where I'm just like, yo, hey, I'm here because of these dudes. Like, I'm just here. Like, I'm not gonna have you waste your time giving me the whole sales pitch. And to be like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, yo, would you prefer that I have you waste 20 minutes bullshit with me and like, let's get a dance? I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
Well, I prefer the realism over anything else.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I respect the honesty over anything. And like, when a girl calls you an asshole and stuff like that, I actually laugh at that because I'm like, okay.
I'm not bothered by it. It's just one of those, like, I'm just trying to save your fucking time. I know, like, your time is fucking money. That's just where I'm at with it. If you think I'm an asshole over it, so be it. I'm not losing any sleep over that shit.
Right, exactly.
Personally, my favorite thing to be able to say is I'm with the feature. Is just like everyone knows. Like,
But then that's when everybody leaves you alone.
Yep. I've worked in so many fucking clubs. Like, I don't like going to strip clubs to like go to strip clubs at this point.
Like I said before, I prefer the strip club over the nightclub.
Well, if you give me the choice of the two, yeah, I'll choose the strip club. I don't want to go to either one. I want to go to a dive bar or a nice like cocktail bar. That's where I want to end up.
Well, in reality, I prefer like having a dinner and stuff like that over that. But like, if I had to choose, I would choose the strip club.
So let's rank it here. So it's nice dinner, then strip club, then nightclub, then where?
Your house.
Okay. No, I read the article. I know you're like, I'm a homebody. I want to spend movies and like
Yes.
be intimate with somebody. And then that is super cool. What is the movie that gets put on when you're going to, be back relaxing?
My favorite movies are like the old school movies, like Dirty Dancing. That's my favorite.
All right.
Old school. I love old school. I love comedy movies, romantic comedy. I hate horror movies. That I hate. Fast and the Furious because I love my Vin Diesel.
I can't believe there's 9 of those fucking movies now. That is so.
Oh, I know, me too. But you know what? He never ages, so I'm like, I'm happy.
He's a member of the tribe too, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And he lives in New York and everything.
And believe it or not, he's a giant nerd. He plays Dungeons and Dragons.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, like Vin Diesel did the foreword on like one of the D&D books at one point. Like wrote the foreword on it. Yep.
Oh wow.
Guess an all-around cool dude. Like you got to be pretty diverse. To be like, I'm a big action star. Still play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. See, I like him even more now. I don't play video games, but I like him even more.
Oh, I'm not even talking video games. I'm talking like nerdy fucking Dyson books, Dungeons and Dragons. Like fucking rolling dice with a bunch of other nerds at a table. Pretending you're a fucking wizard and shit. It's just like, oh, hey. That's another thing that is wild, that like the stigma of nerd culture has like become popular too. Like when I was growing up, if you're like, oh, I'm into some nerd shit, people are like, what's wrong with you? And now it's like, you're not into nerd shit? What's wrong with you?
I mean, it's all about the media again and what is popular.
It's true. It's true. A weird shift to be like, oh yeah, nerd culture. It's okay. I mean, hell.
Exactly. It's hot right now. Don't you worry.
The idea of like 10 plus years of comic book movies being the biggest thing at the fucking box office. Oh, nerd culture.
Or like everybody like is into like Harry Potter and.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I never saw one. Don't judge me, but yeah.
Oh, I'm judging you horribly.
I know you are. I know.
I've seen the first one, and that's because someone with tits forced me to watch it. But I have never seen the other ones, and like I know there's some of my audience that like my old co-host was deep into Potter, and like they're about that life. I'm like, I just Yeah,
I'm not really about that life. So
prepubescent boy doing magic, not really my jam. I would much rather like I am more into like fucking sci-fi and thrillers and shit like that, and good comedies.
I'm more into like comedies and stuff and action.
The rarity is finding a comedy like that you can rewatch and just like, oh yeah, this is fucking hilarious. No matter
old school, you could watch it and rewatch it and never be tired of it.
Well, and Vince Vaughn's performance in that movie is great.
Oh, I love him. And Will Ferrell.
Yep.
He's amazing. We're going streaking.
Frank the Tank. Frank the
Yes, you're my boy, Blue. But I just realized the time.
Oh, you got to
I'm
run?
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We'll do it again sometime. Hopefully at some point.
Yes, I would love to.
Do it in person. You know,
I would love to.
One of us on the course, or I will. You know, I'll honor you by doing your show at some point. Like I'm just volunteering.
Yes, please. Let me know when. Let me know when. I would love to.
I may or may not wear a Speedo for it. I can't make any promises.
Ooh, please.
Alana, before we get out of here, though, where can they find you on the things? Where can they find your show? Find everything. Tell everyone where they can find everything.
You can find me on Instagram at _Alana Luv _. On Twitter, Alana Luv XXX. You can find my show by clicking the link on the bio in my Instagram. It's called Love and Laughs, and alovemedia.com.
Hell yeah. And you can see a lot of really funny comics on her show. I may have peeked a couple episodes before I got on today, so it's good.
And I would love to have you on.
Aw. I feel a little scummy by just being like, yeah, I'll come do it. And I just invited myself.
No, I would love to have you on.
Hell yeah. Alana, it was my absolute pleasure. And for my audience.
Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
And for whoever doesn't know, for whatever reason, you can find me at Matt_Slayer on Twitter, Matt Slayer on Instagram, Matt F and Slayer on Facebook, twitch.tv/Matt F and Slayer. You can find the podcast And Now We Drink on Twitter, and Now We Drink _ on Instagram. And until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.